I didn't see the live button.
I was like, "Sheesh, I forgot to hit the live button while the countdown was going." We're watching the countdown, getting ready, and then I forgot to hit the live button. So anyway, hello, everybody. Happy New Year. It is January 8th already. 8 days into the new year, and we are so excited to be with you guys today. It is welcome to Biz Chat. This is your place of encouragement for faith-based entrepreneurs, and we're so glad you're here to share this journey, ups and downs, the highs and lows. Hello. I'm your coach, Michelle. Over there is Coach Noelle and Dr. Darlene Mayo. Each week we come with topics of strategic insight and encouragement into what we call the inner game and the outer game of faith-based entrepreneurship. So thanks for joining us. Let us know where you're coming in from. We always love to see what parts of the country, what parts of the world. I know I saw on our analytics that somebody like in Uganda is watching. It's so cool to see like the countries and things come in. So welcome to everyone. And today's topic we're going to get to in a little bit is taking action. We've been bringing you so many amazing guest speakers talking about prepping, but now it is time to take action. And we know that it gets busy over the holidays, and sometimes taking action maybe hasn't happened yet. So we want to be here to tell you, like, here's some steps that we've taken. We've paid a little bit of a price. We're not gonna be shy about it. There's been some cost to it, but we want to share with you kind of what we've learned, what we've been doing, and how it can hopefully benefit you as you're taking action steps to get your business moving, your dream, your vision, everything you want out of 2021 that's maybe been on hold, launched into 2021. So that's coming up. Announcements, just a couple of announcements. We always have our Calendly link open, Faith Over Fear Biz Chick /15 min. That you can go ahead and schedule. If you want to talk to us about the program, our Roadmapper Level 1 will be opening up, as well as we also just have our monthly membership now, where you can come in and hear our Friday Fire with our guests after they speak at Biz Chat on Fridays, as well as Coaching Hour, where Dr. Darlene and I are in there every Monday for a full hour, answering any questions that you're having where we don't want you stuck. So when you just come, if you're not even ready, just come and be a part of that community where that is where you're in the room and you're starting to see things happen and your faith grows and you're in that place where you're watching the action come to fruition as people work out that inner game and outer game. So if you just want to come and get a step closer to your dream, because you're just like, I just need a step of faith and I don't know what that is, you can certainly come on in and talk to us about that as well. We always have our free group open. That is at My Atmosphere of Grace on Facebook. So My Atmosphere of Grace, if you just search that up in the group, you'll find us. Come on in. We're just trying to encourage people every week about how powerful grace is and things that just seeing the world and seeing different topics from that perspective of grace. And that is God's empowerment language. Like that is where the power is to move yourself forward and see things in a new way. So that's all that we have always available for you. We want to always let you know about that. So let's move in though. We're going to share some highs and lows, guys. Chat time. You always want to be vulnerable about what happens in the world of entrepreneurship in our week, that you're not crazy. Like it is high and it is low, and we need each other to keep moving. And also share, of course, what we're drinking. Coach Noelle, what you drinking this morning?
I've got my Plexus drink, my little microbiome
gut health
drink. Yeah. In terms of highs and lows, I am on a high right this minute. This morning in my, I do my quiet time in my closet back there. And I was sitting on the floor in the closet, and I've been reading Leif Hetland's book about Call to Rain. I said his name right.
You did.
I didn't stumble. Yeah. And he said something about, he talks about the concept chair 1, chair 2. And for those of you who haven't read the book, he's talking about basically a religious perspective versus a kingdom perspective. And he was talking about what that looks like if you're a teacher or a police officer. And I said, God, what does it look like for me to be a woman that calls women into their purpose and their calling from chair one? And you guys, I'm getting ready to do like a webinar, like a live event keynote workshop where we'll sell a package around Change Your Story. And he gave me the entire outline, the headline. Like, I have chills. I'm so excited right now. So, and I think part of what's so exciting is that he's never given that to me before, that directly. And that tells me it's time. Like, I have been doing a lot of prep work, but it's really time to launch that with a book. And I'm doing it with one of my first clients who is now training to be a trainer with me. And she's been a corporate trainer for 20 plus years. She's amazing. And God sent her to me. And I'm just like chills all over the body right now.
So good.
And my lows at the beginning of the week were complete and total overwhelm. And panic and knowing that I needed to kind of prep stuff for the new year and not really being sure how to organize life. My son is home, schools are shut down again and homeschooling. And so I'm going live about that, by the way, in Atmosphere of Grace, if you want to hear that story, because that story of how God dealt with my overwhelm is what has led into my high today. So it's been a good week, a wild one.
How about you, Dr. Darlene? What you drinking and how's your week been?
I am on my dandelion root tea because we are Daniel fasting right now. Day 5. Woohoo! Hell yeah. Can I tell you, normally when I Daniel fast, I get like these horrible detox symptoms, right? And let me tell you, I did not eat healthy during the Christmas holidays at all. So I was prepared to be hurting this week. I've not had one bit of anything. It's unbelievable, but I feel like God's, it's really that awesome connection. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Highs. So many highs. The most recent one though is God is really opening up new streams for my business that I thought were dead. Like he is breathing life into dry bones. I'm like, I don't even know where these things come from, right? But it's like I got people calling me out of the blue for this and that and the other. I'm like, okay, here we go. So it's funny because I finally got it, last year really got very, very focused on one of my areas of my business and healing in the kingdom. Right. And then since then, God he's been launching that and bringing these other things in. So it's really great. Lows, I would say Wednesday, I allowed myself to get a little bit derailed just by the world and what was going on. Normally, I can just kind of shut that off. I had some things that I wanted to do Wednesday afternoon. Like after 2:00, and my husband is like, hey, you need to come see what's going on the news. I normally don't watch the news. He does, but he called me in and then it was like done for the rest of the day. So I was not productive, but that's okay. I rebounded. And by Thursday I was up and productive again. So that's all right. So
that's the beauty of like the inner game and the outer game. When your inner game is that strong, like the outer game may be doing this, but the inner game is keeping us in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. But what about you, Michelle? What do you?
I am going all not healthy on this morning. So I'm doing the full on give me coffee. It is organic coffee, but
that's good.
Somebody gave me my chestnut praline, which is only a limited time, in Starbucks. So pump. Give me some sugar. Give me some caffeine. It has been a crazy week. I'm doing 2 massive, not massive action because, we know Coach Noel does not like that term, and we don't like it either. Like, we don't want you taking overwhelming massive action, but it is a season where God has called me into doing some heavy level building for as we ramp up for this year. And so I've got a couple of major things going. And then, good old Russell Brunson, he has to throw in a challenge the first week of the new year. So if you don't know who Russell Brunson is, please go look him up. And right now he's doing a 5-day challenge. And I cannot tell you, I have never seen a more valuable challenge in my entire career as an entrepreneur. Right now, what he is doing is crazy. I can't even believe what he's giving away. It is worth your time to go in and check that out. So that's my plug for Russell. I should probably become an affiliate.
Yeah, I was like, I signed up because of you yesterday. So, and I was like, I don't
yes.
think she has a link.
So anyway, I've been doing that on top of a lot of other things. So it's been super, super fun to see the, just like you said, Noelle, you just know it's the right time and things are just, and it's so fun to watch. Dr. Darlene, we were just talking in the before off stage too, just how things are just moving in this place of favor and wind. And it's a beautiful thing. It does come with its struggles and its trials, but guys, we've been at this for a while, and it's just been fun to watch all three of us kind of see that wind and that favor kind of come up. So anyway, that's been the high, the low. Yeah, just the struggle with just the events, and some news about a friend who's in a tough medical place, and all that stuff can kind of throw us off our game. We're kind of in our stride, and then so but the grace is there. The grace is always there. That is the power to keep moving, keep seeing God's view. I think that was the coolest thing, is God was just like, I see this from a whole different level, a whole different perspective, and everyone that claims to know me, no matter what they're doing, I see them as spotless, and everything I'm doing is for their good, no matter if they're not doing what's for their good, or they're not doing what's for my good, or for anybody, like just corruption and things can exist. And God is just like still seeing us as with a big heart, with his beloved, like cleansed heart, and moving as a, in just such a beauty of, for us, always for us. And he just showed me that piece today or this week. And so I guess just as I'm deepening my walk with him, I always say, like, you guys, entrepreneurship is the best self-help program you will ever go on. Like, you just get this, I would have normally gotten so worked up about some of the stuff this week, and I just got to see a beauty in it instead. So, okay.
Talk about kingdom right there. Yeah.
The kingdom. Yes, you guys, we're all about kingdom. Like, we just want God's kingdom. I shared a verse in the Atmosphere of Grace, this John 5. Jesus said, I only do what I see my Father doing. I only do that. That's it. So if you want to know what to do, just ask Jesus to show you what the Father's up to. He'll give you a piece of the kingdom, which is called entrepreneurship, and you can go run with it. So tangibly, what did you guys do while we were having all these guests in this past month? What did you do to actually implement some things to move your business forward in 2021? Who wants to go?
I'll go. Oh, crikey, I'm missing her name. One of our guests, who the name will come to me later, and I'll burst in with it here. I'll type it in the chat. She talked about when you up level, your systems are going to fall apart because they were for another level. So ask Holy Spirit to help you put systems in place. That blew me away.
Ariana,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I have thought about that a lot, and have talked to God about, okay, what systems need to be in place, because I see it already. I see it in each of our 3 personal businesses, and I see it in Faith Over Fear. Like, this year we're blowing up, and we can all feel it, I think. And, and so just kind of asking God and feeling like, it's coming together. I think that's one of the main things, and just feeling like God's guiding too.
All right, Dr. Darlene, how about you? What did you do?
Yeah. So a couple of things. I mean, I really sat down with my vision for my other business and really mapped that out for the first 6 months. And let me tell you, the first week of that has been fire. It has been really good. So that's great. And then the other thing I did is really leaned into the words that the Lord gave me for 2021. And he really gave me 2 words. And the first was relationships, and really building relationships, strengthening relationships. And then the second word is peace. peace. And so everything that I am asked to do, everything that I have on my plate, even, I'm evaluating it against that state of peace, right? Because sometimes it means staying out of something that's not part of my calling, right? And I'll talk about that more in a few minutes. But sometimes it's following the passion that's incited within me when it is in line with my calling. And so really, I like that strategy. I've always had value-based decisions, but I've never really looked at a fruit of the spirit and guided all my decisions based on that. But that's what the Lord guided me to do. So that's what I'm doing. It's awesome. It's very cool. I'm busy, but I'm at peace. It's a great place to be.
You guys should have seen her Marco Polo last night. Her hair is all like, her eyes are bloodshot. She's like, tell me again where I find it. I was like,
my brain was a little spent by the
you guys, if you don't have people to run with for your entrepreneurial journey, go ask. That's what I did. All I did was like, hey, I think I'm as sad and lonely as you. And I literally
we're sad and lonely together.
Oh my goodness.
Vulnerable.
That is so true, because I think I posted something I was frustrated about in one of our business forums, and 3 other women were like, we are too. And we got on Zoom, and that's how this started.
I know. It's okay to be sad and lonely and need friends. You can't do this thing alone. So that's why we have this chat, because we want you guys to like feel like you have us if you have no one else. Okay. So I'm more of a practical gal. I did type the words, like you said, Dr. Darlene. I took the words, I went back and I went, we were all in Julia Winston's Pray the Kingdom Way. And she has a prophetic piece at the end of, or in there, you get a prophetic thing with it. And Janine Van Wyck, I think Melissa, or a bunch of people spoke into me, and I was like, I have these 3 things I'm trying to birth, and I everybody says this is the wisdom of the world. 1, you can't do more than 1. It's 1 or nothing. Like you'll have 3 hobbies, or you'll have 1 successful business. And they were all like, yeah, no, God's not saying drop anything. So okay, so I just asked God, like, what are you doing? And he literally took the mob of unclear stuff and just chaos, and he hovered over it. He hovered over the chaos, and he pulled out 3 separate things and clearly told me what to do. And so I just want to tell you, if you feel like you're in some chaos, like God loves to hover over chaos, right? Isn't that how we all started the whole beginning? In the beginning, ask him to hover over your chaos and give you that clarity to see exactly what you're supposed to. I was mixing and muddling messaging in all 3 different places, and now they are like crystal clear. And so I have 2 full calendars, you guys, and they're flipping color coded because I love it. This is my week, like every day, what I do for the first like 2 months of it, and things will change a little bit, but then I have a big calendar, just a monthly calendar, so I get a big view. But the thing I'm super impressed with myself with, I was showing Coach Noel, I have like binders for each one, and they're color coded. Like I have navy blue for my ecom, pink is for Atmosphere of Grace, and we have tabs, and I have like a top of mind, like right here. Every time we have a meeting, it goes right in there, and I know exactly where we left off, and my to-dos are color coded within my notes. So as Noel and I are like meeting and we're taking notes, I change color when it's something that I'm supposed to do, like it's my job or it's her job. So anyway,
I have to steal that one.
That's what I've been up to make sure that I stay organized, because I'm doing three different things, and that is like you said, it could completely be overwhelming and pull you out of peace. But we wanted to share with you today kind of the framework that we've all realized is really what gets you launched, and that is where we built the Roadmapper program out of. Is really felt like God just gave us the step-by-step like where we get stuck along the way. Like we watched a lot of our friends stay stuck for quite a long time as we're trying to like
ourselves.
That's stuck for a while.
You know, you see it in others, and then you're like, oh yeah, right here. I don't ever want to say like we're
there. Yeah.
but it gave us like the clarity to go like, oh, that's where we're getting stuck. So we're just going to walk you through the 6 weeks of Roadmapper course. Like, this is what we do. This is the framework, and we believe it's the framework. So everybody gets stuck somewhere along this original kind of launch pad. And as I was talking to some people who are mentoring me, like, they're like, oh yeah, that is it, girl. Like, they're coaching people who are, in the next level, but totally like championing what we're doing, because they so see when people come to them, if they have not done these things, that is why they're stuck at higher levels. So it has just affirmed to me, like, oh my gosh, we are so on the right track, because if you get this stuff down, like, it is just like a runway off to your entrepreneurial journey. So we're going to start, I think, Coach Noel, you're taking the first couple ones here. We're going to we're not just telling you what they are, we're telling you why. Like, we're sharing a little bit of like what took us down, as well as like why we know this is what brought us up. So first one is mindsets. Like, if you have mindsets that are holding you back, plan on staying in park.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so part of what makes Roadmappers so powerful is that for those of us who have been stuck for a long time, this is the things that we saw keep us stuck.
Right.
And shifting these things that we're going to be talking about here in the next few minutes is what shifted us finally out of, back into drive instead of in the park. And so mindset, my personal business really deals with a lot of mindset issues around money. And that was the piece that God had to really do a lot of work around me on. But the mindset can be, we become what we believe, right? That's one of the principles of the kingdom. And the kicker is, a lot of our mindsets are sometimes subconscious. They might be based in stories in our past or things that we don't even realize we believe. Like, we might say we believe this, but we live out this. And so Roadmappers really starts to get at some of those subconscious things, and having an outside view helps, because it's obvious to everyone but ourselves usually, right? and so Roadmappers deals with some of those mindset pieces. And Michelle, tell me if you want me to go a little more in detail, because I know we're already...
just share maybe a story, what you like it's been hard earned, right? This journey of understanding, and for you specifically, it was around money. So go. I mean, for me, it was more around really actually even having the faith that I could do this. I just kept, Jen, are you on here? Jen Joaz, she was my buddy during this time. And I was like, how did you even flipping believe you could do this? How does anybody believe they can do this? How does that person over there, how did they actually believe that they could make $1 million or they could launch a business? Who gave them permission? Who gave them the freedom to actually believe in themselves? Like, I was literally stuck with that kind of lid on my head. And I had to break through some mindsets around that. But I know for you, it was more money. Maybe share a little bit about how deep that was, like, holding you back.
Yeah. So the journey started for me, probably has been 15, 20 years ago, when I asked God to teach me 100% financial surrender. And I didn't know that in that process, he was giving me a business and a platform. But my mindset was, I grew up in a nice religious family. We were very devout. We were very well-meaning, but my underlying money beliefs was that it was evil. So my calling happens to be around business and entrepreneurship. How well is that going to work out? Not so well. And so I did everything but become an entrepreneur. And so when God started teaching me 100% financial surrender, I started to realize, I'm a therapist, right? So I started doing groups and workshops around the material, and people were having breakthrough and saying, I've never heard material like this, because everyone talks about, and this is my personal example, it's way bigger than just money, but everyone talks about what you should do with your money, but nobody talks about your heart around money and shame and fear around money. And so people were really responsive. And as God did it in me, when you walk it, you can talk it.
And maybe just give us one strategy that, like, what we kind of talk about in Roadmappers, like what is like a strategy or a tactic that you've really seen people
to shift the mindset?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a really simple one, and I think maybe even Darlene could speak to this one better because she does a lot of those coaching, brain neuroscience exercises. But I mean, it's very simply sometimes getting clear on what you do believe and renouncing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Darlene, you got a little.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you don't have clarity, you have no vision. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but you have brain pathways built up based on your beliefs, based on beliefs of who you are, what your business is even. And if those are not in line with what God has called you to, you have to break those down and then strengthen those pathways that he's put in your mind. So yeah, that mindset, that renewing of the mind, I call it, we have to go through spiritual brain surgery, really. Our mind. So yeah, very powerful.
So good. All right. Moving on to the next thing we usually work toward, and that is your identity.
Yeah. This is the one that was kind of a surprise to us when we did our first challenge. We had everything planned and identity was not part of it. And we were talking and planning one morning and it became a part of it. And it's so funny because I see it everywhere I go now. And to some people, it's become kind of a catchphrase, like, identity. Everyone's talking about identity. But what we're talking about in Roadmappers is not just what we call your last name identity, which is you're a child of God, bride of Christ, all of those different things that are true of us when we're believers. But we're talking about a first name identity and how God designed you particularly. You are not meant to pursue business outside of the identity that God gave you. And so when I started learning my first name identity, which was I'm an introvert, I'm called to speak and write, I'm called to gentleness. Like usually the first thing people say about me when they meet me is how gentle I am, which used to annoy the snot out of me because I'm also a warrior, right?
Warrior.
Yes, gentle warrior. And so when I learned that God designed me to bring gentleness as a strategic weapon, to come into places of chaos and use gentleness to help people bring people to their core, that became an invaluable part of my identity. And when I know my identity, I know which marketing strategy is for me and which one isn't. I don't have to keep running through 50 million. How many thousands of dollars have we spent on courses? And for me, 90% of them were not the right thing. They're fantastic, but they were not for me. And when you know your identity, every single thing about being an entrepreneur becomes simple. And that's a crazy, we need to put that into our marketing. Like to make entrepreneurship simple because you know your identity and you know how you're created to work. That right there is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it is, but there's more.
There's always more.
We don't just stop there. We move forward with, now we've got your identity. And Dr. Jolene, you're going to take us through. We start to pair that with your resources, your gifts, and your skills. And this, like, if you think you got clarity and identity, this brings a whole new level of clarity.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this is the space that I struggled in significantly when I transitioned out of being a neurosurgeon into being an entrepreneur. The first thing, it was my identity, right? Because I spent 17 years training, right? To be a neurosurgeon, 10 years practicing. I was told by so many people, that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. You can't do anything else. I believe that. And then God started to say, hey, but what are the skills that made you good at neurosurgery? And I was like, well, I'm a great leader. I'm very, very organized. I'm very creative because I ran a lot of research programs. I'm like, I can do this. So I got out of that and I really got a beginning idea of my identity. But still, when I transitioned to being an entrepreneur, there's no course for how to be an entrepreneur, which I do want to create one day. Lord have mercy. If I had a 3-month college level course of how to be an entrepreneur, I would have taken it. But instead, I spent probably, I think I added this up recently, $75,000 over 2 years like going to Tony Robbins and hiring different coaches and buying this how to write Facebook ads and how to do YouTube and all this stuff, most of which was not at all what I needed. And, here's the thing. When you, like you just said, Noelle, like when you truly know how God created you, because he has written in your brain, you may not realize this, he has written in your brain not only your identity, but he has actually written all of the knowledge, all of the revelation that you are ever going to need in your life on this earth, okay? Look at 2 Peter 1:3. It will tell you this, all right? It is already written in your brain. So all we have to do, we have to bring it to the surface, right? Because it's stuck there. It's buried under these pathways in our brain that are based on what other people have told us we are, what we should be, what is good to do, right? Have you ever been, so to speak, plowing in a field that is not your field? I've been there. I spent the beginning entrepreneurial journey, like doing things that I was good at, but they weren't passions for me. They weren't part of my calling, right? It actually took me 2.5 years. This is going to be funny. It's funny when I look back, to figure out that really one of my main areas of calling was to bring together the faith and science around healing. This should seem super obvious to me, right? Like, been a follower of Christ my whole life, been a doctor. Like, how did that know? I'm over here helping people get their websites more, engaging, and all this stuff. Like, what are you doing? God, finally, he literally had to like sneak it in to get me into that space. Like somebody randomly out of the blue is like, hey, can you write a chapter on this? And it launched a business. It literally launched a business that I am so in alignment with. And then those resources became so incredibly clear, what I need, what I don't need, right? And it really does speak to all of that. But really, I think people get stuck here in not recognizing the true gifts and skills that we have, right? Because, a lot of times people will say, oh, well, it's arrogant to say you're good at this and that, right? No, when that is your God-given talent, it's actually out of the will of the Lord to not accept that. Yes, it is his power working in us that improves that, right? And
that's what keeps us humble, knowing that.
It keeps us humble. But you know what? He created each one of us, like you said, Noelle, with that first name identity. And we have to own that. You have to own that in the moment that you do, and you accept those gifts and skills and you steward them well. If you don't even accept that gift about yourself, how in the world are you going to steward that gift well? Right? Yeah. So that has been a huge, huge key for me. And, through the coaching, I think I would say the identity piece and this resource piece through the coaching, that is where we saw that first group of road mappers make huge breakthroughs. It was so, so powerful. And having that discussion, not just the teaching, but the actual coaching piece of it, so powerful.
Yeah.
Yes. And it moved up straight into that clarity that you're speaking of. Like there was the breakthrough. The clarity finally came for that entrepreneurial vision. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, because what you hold in your mind, right? What your vision is for your mind, that's what your brain actually tries to help you create, right? So if you don't have clarity of vision, that's going to be in a really inefficient process. Or if your vision is something that is not in alignment with what the Lord has called you to, then you're barking up the wrong tree. Like you're that proverbial fish that's trying to climb a tree and thinking it's stupid, right? Because it's supposed to be in the water and thriving. So having that vision it's very important. And then understanding with that vision, you are integrating parts of who you are into that vision. If your vision does not integrate part of your identity, your affirmations, your I am becoming statements, you got the wrong vision. I can tell you right now. All right. And it's not, it's one and the same. Yes, you have an identity separate from your business. Absolutely. But there's a reason God called you to your business, right? And you are supposed to be part of that. So, I love, and I can talk about vision forever. So I know, Michelle, you're going to cut me off in a minute, but I just want to say, because this was do you know the area of the brain responsible for your vision is actually the area of the brain that connects the spiritual and physical realms. This is the area of the brain that I studied in research for 20 years now. Okay.
Wow.
From a
Guys,
neuroscience.
this is what you get when you come in. Like Darlene coaches for an hour every day. I mean, if you're stuck, you're not going to stay stuck. Like you said, like if we had this course when we started.
Oh my gosh, we would have been here like when we started, like quickly after, because this is gold, guys. This is absolute gold. And the thing that I love about it so much is it's not. Look, there is not one way. There is not one technique. There is not one strategy. No matter what you may hear from the marketing side, and good marketers will tell you have to say, look, you will live or die by this technique, right? But here's the thing. It is very personal to you, all right? So we need to understand that and hold on to that vision. And here's the other interesting thing about vision and this area of your brain, and then I'll shut up for now.
For a minute.
I was like, you need to like, I know this is so good.
When you hold on to the vision, all right, you actually just need to hold on to the what. You actually do not need to worry about the how. The Lord will reveal the how to you when you focus on the what. And I could go into how that works in the brain, but you got to come into Roadmappers to learn about that.
That's so good, Darlene.
That is so good, because I think we get so focused on the how. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to do ads, and I got to learn how to like do e-commerce, and I need to learn how to do Etsy, and I need to learn how to do like, and then you kind of lose, like, what am I doing?
Okay. So case in point, yesterday, those of you who know me know that I have come close many, many times to throwing my computer through a window. And you think I'm kidding, but I am not. I have been enraged by ClickFunnels. I'm not good at tech, and ClickFunnels has been so hard. And I have tried for years to build funnels. And you guys, I started doing it the other day, and it was easy. And I literally, in my prayer time this morning, was like, that is a miracle. Those of you who know me know that that is a miracle, and I'm not being facetious. But that's what you were just saying. The how comes. Because I am getting really clear on this event that God is putting together, and we need a funnel.
And you just segued so beautifully into harnessing grace. Right there could not be a more perfect example of what we talk about, the inner game and the outer game. Like, this is it, guys. Like, the inner game, the outer game. If you can't get the inner piece that Dr. Darlene was talking about, you got the piece, and you're trusting, you got the what, the how will come, and there will be a grace on it. There will be grace is God's empowerment. Like, it is his nature of empowerment. And I remember we have a little interview we do with Jim Baker, and he talks about 2 Corinthians 9:8. And I remember the first time I ever heard him teach on this. It says, God is able to make grace abound to you, that always having all sufficiency in everything, you may have abundance for every good deed. I mean, that's it. Like, if you're struggling and it feels like scarcity and it feels like you're not walking in the grace, and probably because you're walking outside of the vision, you're walking outside of your identity, walking in mindsets that are holding you back, that are like doing like this. But when we get all of that going, and then we harness this grace, this power, this all sufficiency that we need, like, he knows our need. There you just thought, like, I don't even have to tell my story. Like, you're saying exactly it. Like, all of a sudden, the suddenlies start to happen, and the grace is there, the grace to empower you to unlock your mind, because guess what? Now your mind is in sync with your visions, in sync with your identity, which is in sync with their clarity. It all starts to come together, and that rush of grace comes in, and it lifts you up. And then we do the thing. Like, then the next week, like, we are actually, like, we're kicking you out the birdie nest, and you're gonna walk in your calling. Like, it is time to, like, yes, you're going to start to take steps in that. But we don't want you to take steps until the grace is understood. Like, the inner game and the outer game work together. He says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Take your cross, follow me. This is it. This is taking the cross. It is easy. It is light when it is what he's meant you to do. You're not Christ. You don't need to save the world. You're not whoever is your idol and you just think they are amazing. You don't have to carry their cross. You just have to carry yours, and you are built for it. You have the identity, you have the resources, you have the skill set, you have everything you need, and now you have the grace to walk it out. And that's when the trajectory.
I'm getting so excited.
So that is what we have been busy building in Roadmappers, and we would love for anybody who feels like this can help you. Go ahead and jump on in. The link is open. Immediately, you'll get access to our monthly membership. We start a monthly membership because Dr. Darlene and I are in there every Friday, like we said.
You guys, that's not even the course.
That's not the course, right?
We're getting some comments coming in. Looks like we have some people who are ready to sign up. I'm going to say for fast action bonus for people who sign up today, I'm giving you my course for free.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you sign up today, you get the Change Your Story course for free as well.
Everywhere. You guys, that course
is fire, y'all. So good. I did it. Noelle shared that with me probably a year ago, and it was so good. So that's worth it in and of itself.
I was when Darlene told me that, she was like, "I'm doing your course. It's amazing." I started jumping around the living room.
Well, too, there's like brain science behind it too. I love that. You know, when I first heard you ladies before you invited me to join you in this capacity, I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know what happens in your brain when you're teaching that? Like, this is exactly how it is. That is
We're
how
like, no, tell us what's happening.
I need to record an interview with you, Darlene, and make it one of the bonuses for the course.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Man.
Okay.
See what collaboration does, guys? This is the power of collaboration. So come on in, get into Roadmappers. You're going to be able to collaborate with wonderful people and have access to people like Dr. Darlene. And, you know, Noelle has 15 years of therapy behind her. Like she gets in your head, and everybody, we all have giftings of prophetic. Lori is in there. She is highly prophetic. You know, if you haven't ever dealt with the prophetic, don't be afraid. Like I was like, what's it? When I first heard it, it's just like, you know how you see somebody and you're like, oh wow, that person really has just a beautiful this or countenance of that. It's just speaking out what you see. And sometimes you can see, like, as some people are really good at seeing in the spirit realm. My husband had no idea, but he will tell me like that person struggles with that. That person, like he can just see through people. And I'm like, how do you, other people have different giftings, but it's so wonderful when you're stuck and somebody goes, I see this in you. And you're like, that's it. Yeah. So there's just those intangible things that go on inside the group as well. So we just want to invite you inside. It doesn't start for a little bit here, so you have some time. It doesn't start officially till February, but you can jump in the monthly membership group right away. So we hope you come on in. You have something to say there.
I'm looking at the chats, and because it looks like we're going to have some takers today. And Lori says, 15 years of therapy behind her, doing therapy, not necessarily getting therapy. I actually have probably around 15 years of getting therapy.
Okay, so like if you exponentially, like,
it's important.
She is a licensed therapist. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't say that clearly.
Oh my God. What makes me really good is the work I did on myself. Really. I mean, I have a great education, but what makes me good is that.
Again, the best self-help is becoming an
That's right.
Awesome. Well, any closing thoughts, ladies, before we wrap up for today? I just wanted everybody to know what we've been building, what's been going on, and that we just love entrepreneurials. We love women. We love our faith, and we love putting all three of those things together and encouraging people and watching and love coaching. We just love being in your corner.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, so the last thing that I would like to say is just that I would encourage everyone who's listening, if you're live or if you're listening on the replay, take one nugget that you got out of the session today and apply that nugget and watch how your life transforms. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So good. Good advice. All right, everybody. We'll be back next week. Actually, Darlene and I will not be back next week. Yeah. We're giving the reins over to Coach Noelle. We are taking the week off.
I would be very afraid.
show up for her. And it's going to be a great message. After that, the next week, Shay Bynes is here, you guys. Shay Bynes. We
So
are
good.
so
Fire.
excited. If you have not
We
read
will have
anything-
a special guest next week too, so it'll be me and the special guest.
Oh, yes. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yes. And so Shay Bynes, and then we'll, the following week will be the 29th, pre-recorded surprise, because we will be in retreat together in Nashville, planning more amazing things for you. So we love you all. Hope you have an amazing week, and keep walking out your grace. And we bless you in your 2021. Okay.